have this opportunity to talk with you about your book.
Well, thank you. I mean, it's a huge honor for me to do it because I love talking about my books. I love to write. I love talking about the stories and piecing them together. So to be able to talk to readers and friends who really were able to, there's so many different perspectives that I think readers get out of these books, and I love to hear all of them. I love to hear what people connected with, what messages came through, because just like the title, there are so many pieces kind of layered into the story. So I'm excited to be here and talk to you guys about it. So
I'm sorry, is that what made you pick the title, Piece by Piece?
Janine's really quiet. I'm having a hard time hearing her.
I was wondering if that was why you picked the title, Piece by Piece, because there are so many pieces in it.
It wasn't. It was called, I'm trying to think what the original name was now. I published it in 2019, October, 3 years ago, almost.
Wow.
A little over 3 years ago. And gosh, I'm trying to remember what the original title was. I honestly can't, but I was working with my publishing company and some editors within the publishing company. And I just wasn't, the title was not touching my heart as much as the story. And so we were just having a phone call, doing some brainstorming. And I came across a paragraph that I had written between a conversation between the two sisters. And the paragraph actually talked about their pieces of their hearts. And as I thought about the storyline and what the sisters went through, and all of the different kind of where the storyline goes with all the different people, that's kind of, so I guess kind of, yeah, but it was more about that particular part with the sisters and what they were talking about, the pieces of their heart. And then I thought, oh, well, they put together their hearts piece by piece is kind of how it came about.
Before we get into the book a little more, what made you write this particular book at this particular time?
So I started writing in 2000, right when I was getting divorced. Actually started Angel Kisses back then, got about 10 chapters in, put it away. I had a really, really old computer and dial-up internet, put it away, did nothing with it. And then, you know, that was 2000. So between several moves, ended up getting rid of the computer, but the story was still in my head. Fast forward to about 2006, my now husband and I, we blended our family, and it came with a lot of complications. And so one of the things that I found very therapeutic was I was able to take the really difficult emotions that I was going through and not necessarily able to name or label or connect with, and I was able to make up these fictional characters and put the emotions kind of subconsciously into these fictional characters. So then so that's when I started writing, 2006. When we moved, and Tina knows this because we actually worked together, I worked at a child advocacy center where we investigated crimes against children. So I went to a variety of conferences, just learned human trafficking conferences, crimes against children conferences, learned and absorbed so much at those conferences. But in that job, you do hear and see and deal with a lot of really heavy information. So vicarious trauma, secondhand trauma is a thing in those career fields. So for me, when I moved and I got out of the job, I wrote this book. It's not any story that I heard. It's not any experience, but it was a way for me to, again, kind of take some of the stuff that was in my head and put it into a fictional story onto paper. So that's how that one worked. And that was in 2012. It took me several years to write it because I just could not figure out how I wanted it to end. So I had it about 3/4 of a way done for about 6 years. Well,
Hmm.
yeah, up until
Wow.
2018. And
Wow.
2018 is when I finally figured out the ending.
I'm really glad you stuck with it.